Now we move on to the men's elite time trial, the longest of them all, 38.7 kilometres, and sure to be a battle, according to all the pundits, between Jan Ullrich, the 1999 champion of Germany, and Great Britain's Dave Miller, a specialist time trialist, as indeed Ullrich himself is. Our first shot is of David Miller coming out of the starting gate. Won 2 stages of the Tour of Spain just recently, including, of course, the opening time trial and the road stage, after Eric Zabel had taken 3 road stages in a row. Of course, he also won the prologue time trial in the 2000 Tour de France. Jan Ullrich, the 1999 time trial champion, the current Olympic road race champion, and of course a former winner of both the Tour de France and the Vuelta a España, the Tour of Spain. Ullrich then also coming out of the starting gate to face this very difficult 38.7 kilometre testing, climb and descent, twist and turn. Very difficult to get settled into a rhythm on this demanding circuit. Ullrich and Miller then away, and many other great riders too, as we take another look at David Miller coming up to the 4.5 kilometre time check, and Miller already going extremely well. Miller ahead of Ullrich on the road, and Miller 4.5 seconds in advance of Santiago Botero. Botero beat him in one of the time trial stages in the Tour of Spain a few weeks ago. Levi Leipheimer there in 3rd spot at the moment as we take another look at Botero. Leipheimer, one of the surprise packets of the Tour of Spain, getting onto the podium and going well, but Botero looking in good shape here at 13 kilometres. Miller and Ullrich still to come. Botero, in fact, up on Levi Leipheimer at this point. Nathan O'Neill going quite well as well for Australia, but Botero the leading rider so far, with Miller and Ullrich to come. Well, Miller going through the 4.5 kilometre point in 6:53, and Jan Ullrich down at 6, coming up to 7 minutes. In fact, he's slower than Botero, he's slower than Leipheimer. He's going to be in 4th place, I think, behind Leipheimer when he gets to that line. There's Leipheimer's time. In fact, he's just about, yes, indeed, he's lying in about 3rd or 4th place, and still with some work to do. Now, there's the official standings with everybody through 4.5 kilometres as we go to Serhaj Gonchar. Now, Gonchar, of course, is the defending champion, won this title 12 months before, but only in 3rd place behind Miller and Botero at the moment as we go back to Botero, coming up to the 19.2 kilometre point. Botero setting a new fastest time so far at that point, 25:33.46. Botero really as good a climber as indeed he is a time trialist, but Miller looking very, very relaxed, coming to the same point. Watch his time. Botero's time 18:18. Miller coming up to 13 kilometres and stopping the clock at 18 minutes 12. So Miller is fastest, with just Jan Ullrich behind him of the seeded riders. Here is Ullrich now, coming up towards that same point, 13 kilometres of the total distance of 38.7. Well, there's the answer. He's still 20 seconds adrift in 4th place. Levi Leipheimer still doing a very good ride. The US Postal Service rider, rising, of course, for the United States of America in excellent form, got onto the podium in the Vuelta. But Jan Ullrich knows what to do in time trials, won this title 2 years ago, as we go back to David Miller. Now at the 19.2 kilometre check, really putting in a storming ride. The British rider heading for Botero's time once again. Botero's been through here in 25:33. Remember that time? There it is on the screen. Miller catching the man who started just in front of him, flying through this check. He's going to stop the clock any time now. It's going to be fractionally ahead of Santiago Botero, 25:29, 4 seconds to the good. Not a lot in it, and still the German Jan Ullrich to come. Ullrich then, coming up to the same point. Remember, Miller's time, 25:29.3. Ullrich's not going to beat that. His next mark is Botero's. He's not going to beat that. His next mark is Levi Leipheimer's, and I'm not sure he's going to beat that one either. No, he is still in 4th place. He'll be ahead of Leif Hoster of Belgium. So Jan Ullrich still in 4th place, at the 19.2 kilometre mark, virtually halfway round this men's elite time trial. Back to David Miller now. We're moving on to the 23.6 kilometre time check. Again, Botero ahead of him on the road has been through in 33.20, and Miller going through in 33.11. He's increased his lead now. Miller for Great Britain, 9 seconds to the good, and really looking as though he means business here. Miller is climbing, improving all the time, still only 24 years of age. He's now ranked 25th in the world and climbing up those rankings as the locals here in Portugal have all come out to give every rider a shout. Miller, no exception. Back to Santiago Botero. Botero punching the pedals here as he comes up to the next time check. 32.5 kilometres. Botero setting a new mark. Surely he'll be well clear of Nathan O'Neill's time. The Australian's good, but he's not this good. Botero's going to beat that by some distance and set a new fastest for Miller and Ulrich to aim at. 44.48.2 then for Santiago Botero as Botero breasts the climb and faces a fast descent back towards the finish. Back to Jan Ulrich at the same point now. No, Jan Ulrich is still at 23.6 kilometres and again still in 4th place. Still struggling to get going, Ulrich, now on the second lap of this 2 circuits that they've got to do here. And Ulrich still with a lot of work to do, still lying in 4th place. Now then, back towards the finish area, and Santiago Botero surely is going to set a new fastest. Santos Gonzalez, no mean time trialist himself, the Spaniard, having set an earlier mark of 53.16 at the finish. Botero's going to be comfortably in front of that. Probably just over 52 minutes, I would think. It's going to be an excellent time for Botero. 52 minutes, 1.72 seconds. That's the target for Miller and Ulrich to aim for. Levi Leipheimer just behind Santiago Botero at the finish. But now let's have a look at Miller as he comes up to the last intermediate time check, 32.5 kilometres. Botero went through some time ago, of course, and Miller leading there and still leading at the finish. There's Botero's time at the finish, 52 minutes and 1 second. David Miller would love to crown his most successful season yet since he turned professional with a gold medal in this his specialist event. He's going to take the lead. Miller takes the lead, 51.56. He's just got 5 seconds in hand on the Colombian, so it's silver at best for the Colombian and a possible gold for Miller. But now let's concentrate on Jan Ulrich, and here catching last year's bronze medalist László Bodrogi of Hungary. Bodrogi was in 3rd place behind Serhaj Hončar 12 months ago. They started at 1 minute intervals, and Ulrich has taken a minute out of Bodrogi. You wouldn't imagine that. And Ulrich now on this second circuit really flying, and unofficial time checks suggest that he's closing the gap on both Botero and Miller. Bodrogi hanging on to him as they get ever nearer the finish. 51.56 is the time to aim for. David Miller's time. It's going to be very close. Jan Ulrich being pushed very hard here by the Hungarian László Bodrogi, and this is really bringing a little bit extra out of Jan Ulrich. It might be enough for Ulrich to beat Miller. It's going to be close. It's 5, 6, 7 seconds to the good. Jan Ulrich 6.3 seconds faster than David Miller in a time of 51.50. Jan Ulrich is the new world time trial champion. He's taken the gold medal in this discipline for the 2nd time in 3 years. Pushed very, very hard in those closing stages by László Bodrogi, last year's bronze medalist. Ulrich powers home in front of a very, very elated German audience. I didn't race at full speed on the first lap, he says. I was only at about 95%. 2 days ago, I had a look at the course and I realized that the race was really hard. It would be decided probably on the last 2 climbs on the second lap. So I gave it everything on the last lap. When I knew that I was gaining time, it worked to my advantage and I won. Well, he did indeed. Jan Ulrich taking the gold medal. David Miller will have to be satisfied with the silver medal, and Santiago Botero on the podium for Colombia in 3rd place for the bronze medal. But Jan Ulrich adding another world title to his first one a couple of years ago.